can't undo what the president has done. And I think the long-term potential for damage is enormous.
He needs to stay in trial for what he did and stand up for his actions.
And that is strong reaction from Congress and fellow soldiers on Bo Bergdahl. Eyewitness News analyst Lieutenant General Reginald Centracchio is here. General, the controversy is growing over the prisoner of war exchange. Some calling him a hero, others calling him a deserter.
The only way to resolve this controversy is to be able to give him a court-martial, and the truth will come out. That is exactly what the good order and discipline of the United States military requires, and that's what should be done. I agree that this could have long-term effects on our national security as it relates to negotiating with terrorism, but it also has a more significant impact on whether, in fact, we treat a deserter like someone who's been captured in a time of war.
Well, he could get 5 years in prison if he is found guilty. The president is getting a lot of criticism, not from just the Republicans, from the Democrats too. Dianne Feinstein, who has been a big supporter of President Obama, went after him last night. Should have he consulted Congress?
Absolutely. This president needs to be reined in. He needs to be aware of what his job is as the President of the United States and the Commander-in-Chief. Much of that has to do with consultation with the United States Congress. For him to circumvent that and to constantly put out more executive orders circumventing that requirement under our Constitution is dangerous at best. He needs to be reined in.
If he is court-martialed, Bergdahl, would we find out who A, he really is, and B, why he walked away?
It'll certainly give us that possibility. You know, this cannot be debated in the media. It can't be debated in the Congress, or from those that would suggest he was a hero and those that would suggest he's a deserter. The entire military justice system is built upon being able to have the both sides of the story told, and somewhere along the line the truth will come out.
A lot of people don't know anything about what goes through a court-martial, so what's the process that they have to go through?
The process is, number one, whatever the line of chain of command, the kind of court-martial he would get would be a general court-martial. And in fact, he goes through the same process with having someone defend him as well as having someone prosecute him. And in the end, you would come up with whether in fact he's guilty of a particular charge or not. Unlike the system we have today where you have a jury and so on and so forth. The whole program is designed to ensure that soldier gets as much possibility as is possible to tell his side of the story, and the prosecution would be able to tell that side of the story.
When he left, soldiers in his platoon said he deserted his troop. They're saying that now. Where does that put other troops, let's say, down the road when they're pulling 10,000? There's only going to be 10,000 people left, soldiers left in Afghanistan.
You know, you're right, and I think the thing we need to pay attention to is that, you know, the soldiers who are saying he walked off his post should have as much credibility as it is when we take a soldier's word that someone would be deserving of the Medal of Honor. So that all starts with his own soldiers saying he walked off the post. That would also put the possibility of other soldiers being in more jeopardy when we have a residual force left after 2016. Then you get into the bit about how do we negotiate that. We have always said, and I subscribe, you cannot and should not have any negotiation with terrorism.
What about the statement that the Taliban is a legitimate state in exile?
I think in their mind perhaps, but I don't see that anywhere. They may have a part in the Afghan government at some point, but them being a separate standalone state, I don't see that. They're a terrorist organization.
Quickly, General, we have no idea when the proceedings will start, right?
I have not heard that, but I do understand they are about to proceed.
Okay, let's switch gears quickly. The VA bill proposes to give a waiting list authority to see private doctors. We're hearing so much about Veterans Affairs in the last couple of weeks.
That's a good way to be able to take down the waiting list. Of course, the physicians that participate in that would have to agree to be able to treat these soldiers within the pay schedules of what the VA offers to begin with.
You had mentioned last week on this program that the VA in Providence has gotten a clean bill of health. The director of the hospital was on Eyewitness News this week. Going to make you feel good.
Yeah. I think the only thing she agrees to is that there is a backlog on the primary care, and I think part of this VA bill would help surely solve part of that problem.
All right, General Centracchio, thank you for your thoughts. Thanks for watching.